500-pound air limit. Thank you. While you're out there on the outside track, if your alarm bell goes off in the real world, what would we do? You'd exit, right? We understand that limitation. They've set that alarm bell pretty freaking high. We will allow you to stay on air till 500 PSI, okay? If one person's alarm bell goes off and they're still above 500 PSI, you're good to go, keep going. Once that person gets below 500 PSI, that first person comes out. The other two can continue the station. The second the next person goes below 500 pounds, then the whole team's out because you can't work alone. You gotta work in a buddy system. Everybody go with that? Okay, conserve your air. Key thing is conserve your air. Skip, breathe, stay calm, you know. All of our evaluators, lead evaluators for all the stations are back here. Any things that you all want to say at this point, or? Go for it.
The overboots,
Yep.
when they come out of the suits, we need to get them back to.
Okay, so as soon as you get in here, guys, if you would, when the boots come in here, get them back out to the baseboard. What will happen is your vitals will be taken out there. That information will come in here and it will meet you back in here. If you got personal items, wallets and stuff that you want to put in, take your green bag with you, put them in there, and they will sequester them and send them in here to be with the staging officer presentation. Encourage you to come to the Graymont presentation. For those of you who are first timers, you know, you're going to get a feel for it. You're going to see what it is, and we want you to come back next year regardless of what happens this year. Because now you know how it works. Now you know the system. We want to hit that maximum of 14 teams every year. We almost had a team come in from Montana and from Tennessee to compete. So, but because of the hurricane and the delays and turning everything on and stuff, they didn't have enough time to do all the travel requirements and stuff to make that happen. So.
Today we are going to watch as teams from around the state use their knowledge, their skills, and some good old American resourcefulness to determine the safest and best ways to deal with the challenges they are presented. We will also talk to several people who are involved with the setting up and running of this interesting competition. We'll have them tell us about what hazardous materials are and the importance of local communities being prepared for a chemical accident. Some of the guests will discuss what challenges typical emergency responders in communities throughout Florida, the nation, and the globe face when dealing with a chemical or hazardous material spill. We'll discover how these responders train and prepare for a 911 call they hope will never come in. Hopefully, we will also talk with some emergency responders we see stepping up on the challenges presented by today's competition. From them, we can learn about the training they've received to do their work and how they prepared for today's competition. But I think a whole lot of folks who are not involved with this line of work would like to know what it's like working inside of those big, thick, green plastic suits in an area where caustic or deadly chemicals have been released. My name is Bill Wade. I'm a retired fire captain and also a past member of my community's hazardous materials response team. I look forward to keeping you informed as today's competition continues. We're talking today with Frank DeFrancesco. Frank, you're running the outside scenarios today. What are you looking for? First off, what setups have you made for these teams?
There are 5 different stations in which a team will participate in individual/team building exercises on various HazMat scenarios. Starting out with basic dressing out, getting in the proper level of PPE, to leak control, where they will be given 3 different situations in which they have to stop a leak from occurring. Then they'll move to an actual scene scenario where we have a simulated accident in which they have to work together as a group and determine if there's any hazard, what level of hazard there is, and determine how they're going to mitigate it. The 4th station we have out here, we have an individual potentially contaminated from the accident. And so the group has to determine if there is contamination involved, and then properly decontaminate the patient if there is any kind of substance found. And then our last station is a fun station. Every year we try to put something together that there's a little fun camaraderie competition. This year we have a real fun game which is going to test their dexterity and their basic perception on getting an object in a certain place. I don't want to give away the game yet until they start going through it and actually do it.
Well, good. Well, we'll look forward to that. Now, you have your evaluators out here. You said that some of the events are team and some are individuals. What are your evaluators looking for from these teams and individuals?
We have developed a rubric in which the evaluator looks specifically at some goals and objectives designed for each of the stations. And so the evaluator will look at the goal, and either the person did not meet it, sort of met it, or really met it. And so it's a real simple system, but the goals are really specific and measurable so that we can truly see how a team is doing.
And I'll tell you what, being on these teams, it really takes some guts to step up and say, go ahead and evaluate me. I think I can take your job. What do you think about these young folks come out here and participate in something like this?
Well, first off, it's really exciting to see the young guys coming out, testing themselves, challenging themselves. When they walk away, many times we have seen them beat themselves up saying, you know what, I could have done better. I should have known this. Or I remember seeing it, but I just didn't remember it at this time. And so watching the teams compete, actually they evaluate themselves a lot harder than we could ever evaluate them. And so they take the information and they bring it home to their teams at home. And a lot of good comes from it. They end up looking at their strengths and weaknesses, and they actually practice some of this stuff on their off time. And then next competition, we see them back. And of course, as evaluators, we change up the entire situation. So hopefully it's challenging all over again. And it's a really good event for the new and the old.
Anything else you wanted to tell us about this activity today? And then, because I know you got things to do.
Well, it's a great event. It's something that we hope that other teams from around the state will pick up the challenge and come on out here. We've had several teams that have been here almost every year, and every year we pick up a new team. And there's a chance that next year we'll have some out-of-state competition. So that'll be interesting to see how we measure up to out-of-staters and see where that goes.
Add a different flavor to the competition. Thank you. I know you got a lot to do today. Have fun. We're here with Doug Wolf of Response Technologies. Doug, what is Response Technologies' responsibility out here today?
Response Technologies has been running the Hazardous Materials Team competition for 9 years. This is our 9th season. It is a competition that grew out of a concept called the Capabilities Evaluation, which essentially is an assessment center for HazMat technicians. We developed that about 15 years ago, and that grew into, let's take that assessment center system and convert it into a competition. So there's about 40 people out here helping to facilitate the competition for 40 technicians. So it's a one-to-one technician to support staff opportunity. It's sponsored by numerous organizations. We have Kapler, Personal Protective Equipment sponsors this, Safeware sponsors it, as well as Industrial Scientific. So they're competing for first, second, and third place. This year we got 10 teams in the competition. So they're competing for first, second, and third place. And then we got a couple extra Best Leadership Awards and Best Game Score Awards.
What do you think, speaking about the teams, what do you think they're getting out of being here today?
Hopefully they're having fun. But there's a lot of type A personalities out here that want the competition and want to see how good they're doing, and they're bringing their best game to the competition. It's also a great learning opportunity, and it allows them to see where they might have strengths and weaknesses. We've got some very unique stations out here this year, so they may see areas where they might be able to improve. And they may see areas where they can de-emphasize additional training on, or just keep skills maintenance up. So competitive nature, have fun, learn strengths and weaknesses. That's what we'd like them to get out of it.
Now, and these folks that are out here, okay, they're much younger than you and I. You and I have been in this hazardous materials business for a number of years. Personally, I think it's great to see the young folks and how they've stepped up, not only to meet the standards, but maybe even make them better.
Yeah, we're looking for the leaders of the future. We've got some people on the evaluation staff here that are the instructors of the future, and I'm getting to the point, and a lot of us are getting to the point where it's time for us to yield over to a younger generation, and this really floats some of those people to the top. So we're glad to have them out here, and I think Florida's sort of ahead of the game in many cases with regards to building the future hazardous materials response teams. This symposium, the Florida HazMat Symposium, and this competition really sets the bar high for these organizations.
Very good. Anything else you wanted to let our folks know?
No, Florida HazMat Symposium once a year, every January. Make sure you come. We're looking for out-of-state competitors too. We almost had a Montana team coming in and a Tennessee team coming in, but due to Hurricane Ian and some of the delays that were put in place, they weren't able to come in and compete, but we hope to see them in here next year.
Who would not want to come to Daytona Beach, Florida in January?
From Montana, yeah, I bet it'd be a great place to come.
Doug, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. First responders were called to this vehicle crash that you see behind, in front of you. When they arrived, they found 2 patients. Both patients were out of the vehicle, so they treated the patients that had been transported. As they were walking around the vehicles, they found a box that has a radiation sticker on it. All right? So they evacuated, and according to the ERG, and called you guys in to check and see if there is indeed radiation out there. All right? Dave is going to explain to
instruments for your use. Canberras, they can only see gamma. CDB 700s. With the beta window open, you can see beta and gamma radiation. With the beta window closed, only gamma. These DSM 525s, they can accommodate 2 separate probes. One is a scintillator. I'm not going to tell you what a scintillator can see. You should know. They can also accommodate a frisker or a pancake probe. I'm not going to tell you what a pancake can see. You should know. Dosimeters are here available for your use. Tell us what, decide amongst yourself what instruments you want. We'll set it up for you, give it to you. Oh, and your area of play is everything bound by the yellow caution tape. That's your area of play.
Hey, Nick, I think we should take one of each, just in case we can get a second or third reading with our dose meter. Or do you just want to stick to the ones that we know? Okay.
So what do you want?
We're going to take one of those, we're going to take one of these, and we're going to each have a dose meter on our person.
Okay, so you got dosimeters on you. You want a pancake or a scintillator probe on this?
I would, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you have to, because this only did beta and gamma here with the window open. Right.
You want one of these?
Yes, sir.
Beta window open or closed?
Can you repeat which one does what?
Beta, this can see gamma with the beta window closed, but when you open the beta window, now it can see both beta and gamma.
Copy. We want beta and gamma.
Okay?
So you want this in counts per minute or dose?
Say again?
Do you want this in counts per minute or dose rate?
You have to decide that.
We want dose. Yeah. Dose rate. Dose.
Okay.
Dose rate, correct? Yeah.
All right. It's set up. So this is ready to go? The way
This
you
is
want
ready
it?
to go?
You want to take these in with you?
Yes, sir. Do we have dose meters on us?
You have dosimeters, yes, sir. If you want to use this, you're welcome to it also.
Yeah, it's the most safe for I guess. Yeah, if these are personal dosimeters, we should have one.
You've got one.
They're taped to you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You've got one.
Okay, so we already got the dose meters on. We're good. Let's start our boundary. See what we got. Then we'll work in depending on our hits that we have. Okay? You want me to bring another one? Do we have anything to write anything down? Like for backgrounds or anything like that?
Yeah,
What
you
we're
could just
starting with?
tell me what the background is and I'll write it down.
Well, if I can see it. It's 0. Oh, right here. Okay. That's good. You see, we're at what, 28, 20? Let's go 28. So we just know where our backgrounds are at. And then what do we have on? 0. This one's 0.
So 28 what?
That's micro rim.
Okay, cool.
Which one am I taking? Right, that's micro rim, right? Yeah, with the... Yes, yes.
All right, so you got background.
Yes, sir.
Very good.
Now we're going to talk to David Donahue. We were watching him for a couple of minutes with this last scenario here, and we're going to find out from him what's going on at this station. Mr. Donahue, down from National Fire Academy, what did we see the HazMat team working on over here today?
And what they're working on is a motor vehicle crash involving a pickup truck that was carrying a radioactive source, not an uncommon occurrence. In this case, it's a soil density meter, so it tells how deep concrete is, how deep the soil is. In the crash, the radioactive source was thrown from the vehicle, and their job is to determine where it is. So what they're doing is they're surveying the entire area to locate where the source is, and if they're successful, then they'll worry about cleaning it up.
And this is a situation that could happen in one of our urban environments any given day.
Any urban, suburban, or rural environment. Soil density meters, other radioactive sources are very common. They're used for checking pipes, like sewer pipes and water pipes for leaks. Again, Florida has a lot of construction going on, so if a city's buying 6 inches of asphalt, they want to know they're getting 6 inches of asphalt. So they'll use one of these devices to make sure they're getting what they're paying for.
What are you hoping that the team members, the competitors, are getting out of this today?
First and foremost, that they can identify where the safe and unsafe areas are, that they can utilize their instrumentation to identify and locate radioactive sources, and they could take protective actions for themselves and the community.
If we've got somebody watching as a HazMat team who didn't participate in this exercise and they're thinking about coming here next year, what do you think? What would be your advice if they're thinking about participating in this competition?
First off, start studying and enroll in the competition. This is an excellent opportunity to test your skills. Across the entire venue, there are 10 events, so they're working on leak control, they're looking at chemical in the urban environment, potential criminal activity, as well as radioactive sources this year. And every year there is a series of challenges for them to overcome.
Excellent. Anything else?
Nope.
Have a great day, sir.
Thank you.
What are you going to have him do? No. Just consider what you have as skin. Consider. Yeah.
I've got more than twice background right here, so we can clean this here in the back of his arm. And his back right here. And these two wipes. And obviously we'll have some sort of overpass or something to put all this.
To explain to us what we've been seeing in here is one of the evaluators, Daniel Waters. Daniel, what did we see these HazMat teams do?
This is our victim decontamination station, and what they have here is one of the victims from their last scenario has now been moved to a safe refuge location, and they're having to come in and determine whether or not the patient potentially had radiation contamination on them. So they have a variety of equipment, devices, radiological detection devices to choose from. They have to pick the most appropriate ones for the scenario. They have to use some type of organized method of assessing the person from head to toe and determining if they have any contamination on them. If they find an area of contamination, then they have to choose the most appropriate method of removing that contamination, and after that point, making sure that the person is still clean. So there's a variety of steps that they're going through. They're selecting equipment, they're surveying, they're making treatment choices, how to do the decontamination, and the last step is obviously making sure that they were successful in the decontamination and the person is clean after it's complete.
It's been interesting watching all of these stations going on around here, and you've been involved with this competition for many years. We've got somebody watching this competition. They're a part of a hazmat team. What would you say to them about why they should be here?
Well, it gives them an opportunity to take some of those skills that maybe they're not using on a regular basis and seeing where they could maybe improve in what they do on the day-to-day. And this is a great opportunity to come out in a non-stressful environment and get a chance to see what you know and maybe what you want to brush up on.
Very good. Anything else?
No, it's a great being here, and we love to see the teams coming through. They're doing a great job.
Thank you very much. With Garrett Parnell, and he's running a very interesting station at this hazmat competition. Garrett, they're playing ladder golf. What's that about?
So what the teams are doing is they're coming in and they're showing their dexterity while they're in their vapor suits. So the point of the game is they're 10 feet away from the ladder. They have to throw the bolo at the ladder. They get 3 shots, and they're trying to see what score they can get while they're inside their protective suits on air. So it's a good test of dexterity while they're inside their suits and trying to work.
I was watching a few of the teams. It seems like they're having a good time with your station.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of competition. I can't release their scores to them, but there's some competition. You can tell they want to see if they're doing the best, so they really take it seriously.
You got somebody back watching this. They're on a hazmat team somewhere else in the state, and they're thinking about participating in this competition next year. Why should they do it? What do you think?
I think it's a great way to kind of just see where you are and get with the skill levels, learn some skills, train yourself, work yourself up, and then come up here and there's a lot of opportunities to network, meet other people, talk to other teams, just grow, broaden your horizons and learn more about what you do.
Anything else?
Oh, no, that's all I got. Thanks.
Terrific. Thank you.
Consider this to be his skin. Okay. Okay. If we get to that point, we'll discuss it.
We're here with Ashley Shive of ACT, one of the companies supporting this competition. Ashley, what is ACT?
We are a multidiscipline environmental company, but I am the director of emergency services, and we do chemical emergency response. Just like the firefighters, we just do it on the private industry side. So the firefighters come and handle the initial response, make sure life safety is good, and then we come in and clean it up and make sure the environment is good.
That's interesting, but why would a private industry be interested in participating in a hazmat competition with the firemen here?
Oh, absolutely. The owner of my company is a member of the CERC. I am on the training task force for our LEPC, so we work with firefighters all the time. We have ourselves hosted what we call cooperative training days with Polk County Fire Department, where we bring in every shift and we train with them to make sure if we ever have an incident where we would work combined. And in any large incident, it is highly possible that municipal responders would need private help just for additional supplies. We have the vac trucks, we have additional confined space equipment, we have chemical cleanup resources just like they do, just in probably greater quantities. So we go in and train together and work together. So this is right in our ballpark. We love this.
And anything else our people should know about ACT in this competition here today?
Just that we are avid supporters. We've helped Response Technologies work at the competition ever since he opened the door and allowed us to come in. So we absolutely love being here and love working with the fire departments.
Let me ask you a question. You say you work with the firefighters in your community. What do you think the firefighters who are participating here today in their departments are getting out of being here today?
Oh, well, the competition specifically is a wonderful challenge, and it's a wonderful motivation to keep us honing our skills. Again, we're competitive people, all of us, and the idea of taking home the bragging rights, that's worth a lot to make you want to keep up your training and be at the top of your game all the time.
Very good. Anything else, ma'am?
No, just love the opportunity for ACT to help out.
Thank you for being here.
Absolutely. Thank you.
We're here with Chief Heather Lorimore, Volusia County Fire Department, and this wonderful training facility. Why does Volusia County offer this training facility up for this HazMat competition?
We like being a part of whatever we can within the state, and we have a lot of great hazmat teams throughout the state. We love being able to offer it to them to come here. We're very honored that the HazMat Symposium comes here every year after year, with this being their 10th anniversary to host this event. So we're more than happy to be able to show off the facility and offer whatever help we can for it.
And what do you think your department, Volusia County Fire Rescue, and your residents get out of having this competition here on your facility?
Well, we usually hire back some hazmat techs from the team, and they get to be exposed to different types of training events, different teams. They get to hear kind of all the interaction with what the competition is. And so that kind of challenges them a little bit to see, hey, maybe I need to improve in these areas, or man, we really do good in these areas too. So it's a lot of good exposure. It gives them a chance to meet and some of the other techs throughout the state and get to know them as well.
I don't know. I've enjoyed that, getting to meet some of my peers and some others who they do it a little differently. They might have found a better way. Now, we got somebody watching who's on a hazmat team, another part of the state, and they're saying, well, why should I participate in this competition?
It's a good way to test your team and test your peers and see where they're at, see what they need to improve on. Maybe this, like you said, maybe somebody else has a different way of doing things that you never thought about before. And it's kind of fun as well. Kind of gives you bragging rights, and why not?
Chief, thank you very much for letting us be here today.
I appreciate it.
There's your table, there's your victim. All of your equipment is turned on and functioning.
April Dellinger is with one of the vendors who supports this competition and makes sure that it runs smooth for everybody here today. April, what is your company and what do they do here?
I work with Safeware, and we are a national distributor for public safety equipment. So we work really close with all the HazMat teams throughout the United States.
Very good. Why does your company come and support this competition?
Because these are our favorite customers is one reason that we do it. I've been supporting Doug with Response Technologies for about 9 years he's been doing this. I was giving him my gas monitors to borrow for some of the very first ones, and now I actually help with the competition as well, as a volunteer.
Now, you say you're a vendor to many different HazMat teams around the state.
Yes.
What would you tell them about this competition, why they should be here?
I would tell them that it's a great learning experience, and we've actually got other states that are watching what Florida does, and they want to emulate the system that we have down here with the competition as well as with the HazMat symposium.
Well, very good. Well, thank you for being here today.
Thank you.